Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to New Zealand for the first time in quite a wee while. We're going to return to the capital city of Wellington, and I believe I haven't done a review from these guys in just over a year. So we're going to return it to Garage Project today, and we're going to have a taste of the Lack of Faith, which is a black IPA at 7.5%. Now I've had very good experiences with this brewery in the past, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. This beer I think had 4 point something on Untappd when I checked it out, and it had a 92 I think when I checked it out on Rate Beer as well. But as I say, I've had very positive experiences with this brewery in the past, so I'm sure it will be pretty good. And if you've watched the channel before, you'll know that I love New Zealand hops, and I had a great time when I was in New Zealand and actually got to try some of the beers. They've got a great standard of stuff down there, so if you're looking for a country to visit that has a good standard of beer, New Zealand is up there. New Zealand has some great craft beer. I just wish we got it over here in Europe a little bit more easily. That's my only complaint about it, I would say. But yeah, New Zealand is a great beer country, and Wellington seems to be a bit of a kind of craft beer hub throughout the country. So yeah, make sure you go and visit Wellington. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Garage Project reviews that I've done before. No doubt I will do more in the future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beers based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the New Zealand beers that I've reviewed for you, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Garage Project then, so this company was founded back in 2011 by Peter Gillespie, Ian Gillespie and Josh Russell, and all three had experience of working at other breweries before they founded Garage Project. And the name Garage Project actually comes from the fact that the brewery squatted in Ian's garage when it was originally started. So they say that when they were a nano brewer. They only had a 50-litre brewing kit, and they say that this was good because it allowed them to experiment and kind of take risks with brewing without investing too much in the ingredients and having to throw a lot of beer away. And this has kind of stayed true in their mentality. They are actually a very prolific brewery. They're always pumping out new things, and they've got a whole host of different beers. They do have some that are a little bit more regular than others, of course, and the other ironic thing about this brewery, I guess, is that they are now based in an old petrol station, so the Garage Project has kind of stayed kind of true to what they are, but they are brewing on a bigger scale these days. If you look at the pictures on the website, they've got a lot of fermentation tanks there. They've been increasing their capacity quite a lot in recent times, and I believe their brew kit is a few thousand litres as well. So they are one of the better known New Zealand craft breweries these days, I think, simply because of the fact that they do export a number of their beers as well. And I would recommend that you check out these guys. I've had very positive experiences with them in the past. A personal favourite of mine, I guess, would have been the Death from Above. That was a really interesting IPA beer that was based on some kind of Vietnamese chili or curry dish or something like that. It was really interesting. So these guys are always trying different things, and if you want a really experimental craft brewery, then Garage Project is a very good one to go for. Just to tell you a little bit about the guys who were involved at the brewery then, so Peter Gillespie, he's the brewer, and he was previously an academic before going on to work for breweries in the UK and Australia, and he got involved in Garage Project when he returned to his hometown Wellington. Josh Russell is a really well-known beer enthusiast around the city. He's seen as the idea man at the brewery, and he's very enthusiastic and passionate about increasing the knowledge that people have of craft beer, and also trying to promote New Zealand craft beer abroad, of course, as well. And Ian Gillespie is seen as the kind of glue that holds the three of them together, and apparently, as I said to you, the brewery was squatting in his garage when they first set up. But he's got experience of setting up cafes, and he seems to be the one who deals with a lot of the marketing side of things like that for the brewery. But if you go along to Arrow Street in Wellington, you can visit the brewery, and from what I understand, they do have a tap room there where you can try a lot of the different beers that they're putting out. But as I said, a very prolific brewery. They're very experimental, so if that sounds like it hits the right buttons for you, I would recommend it that you check out Garage Project, and I've had very positive experiences with these guys in the past. But anyway, that's all you need to know about the brewery just now. Let's actually get on to the tasting for this beer itself. So I'll just give a little quick look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. There you can see it's actually a little bit plain in comparison to some of the other ones that I've had from Garage Project before. So it's almost just like a digital stereo kind of thing. It's nicely done, this one. This beer was brewed for a festival, if I remember correctly, when I read on the website. But it says, give yourself to the dark side, lack of faith, black IPA. The colour of space with all the bitterness and powerful hop aroma of its lighter sibling. Only at the end do you realise the power of the dark side as it finishes clean and dry without the heavy roast character of the stout or porter. Do you doubt us? We find your lack of faith disturbing. Originally brewed for Golding's Free Dive, May the 4th be with you 2015. So yeah, 7.5% alcohol, 2.0 standard drinks. Not sure if that's the same as our measurements that we have in Scotland or here in Sweden, of course, but it tells you a little bit here. We're a small brewery located in an old petrol station in Wellington, New Zealand. It's an unlikely place for a brewery, but we aim in the garage to create unique and beautiful beers. We like pushing boundaries, reinterpreting styles, and challenging the notions of what beer can be. So yeah, nicely presented one. There's a little bit of the blurbs there if you want to read that yourself. You can pause the video. But yeah, let's get this guy out then and we'll get on with the tasting. It's been a little while, I think, since I've tried a black IPA. It's a style that came in for a while, a few years ago, and there was absolutely loads of them. But then they just kind of all of a sudden disappeared, and you can smell right away. One of the things you're always going to notice with hoppy New Zealand beers is just that stereotypical juicy character that you get from the New Zealand hops. I absolutely love, I absolutely adore New Zealand hops just for that kind of juicy, fruity quality that they've got. So that's why I absolutely love New Zealand beer. So that's one thing I want to experiment a little bit more with my home brewing is New Zealand hops. The Nelson Sauvin, Riwaka, Rakau, Pacifica, all of these sorts of things. There's so many good hops in New Zealand just because there's no natural predators for the plants down there, and they've been able to experiment a hell of a lot. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, it's poured a really nice kind of dark ebony rosewood colour. It looks very, very nice. There's a solid finger and a half of a frothy, very lightly beigey cream head on this one. It looks very nice. If I hold it up to the light, there's a little bit of an almost ruby kind of chestnut edge to the beer. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head, and you can really smell some of these lovely juicy fruity characters coming out of this beer. It smells really, really nice. So let's just take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Oh yeah, to me, that's coming out as really orangey. I wonder if there's a bit of Pacifica in there. It could well be Mosaic, right enough, from America, but I have to admit, probably when it's a New Zealand brewery, it's more likely to be Pacifica. I remember Pacifica having these lovely, big, juicy, orangey notes, but yeah, it's got that typical juicy, fruity New Zealand hop character to it. There's maybe a little bit of a sort of, not quite mango, but maybe a little bit of a lychees and papaya kind of thing going on with this one. So there's, yeah, it's oranges I think on top, but then there's a little bit more complexity, there's a little bit more tropical fruit character to this one as well. You can smell a little bit of the kind of floral, aromatic sort of thing, but definitely on the hoppy side of this beer, it's leaning towards the juicy character. There's a tiny, tiny little bit of earthiness in there as well, I think, but that might be the malts kind of coming through. You can definitely get some of that roasted black malt out of this one. To me, it seems like there's a little bit of bready character in there as well. Some chocolate, and yeah, you can definitely get a little bit of chocolate out of this when you swirl it up. Some chocolate, a little bit of brown sugar maybe as well. But yeah, that's a nice smelling beer. To me it smells really, it's really orangey. It's mainly orange that I'm getting out of this one. But yeah, some lighter kind of floral, grassy sort of things going on in this one. There's a little touch of earthiness to it as well. Some roasted black malts, a bit of brown sugar, maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit of chocolate as well. Maybe it's got a little bit of that sweetness in there too. But it smells really nice. As I always say with these beers, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of them before you get stuck in. And for me especially, when it's a beer that's come from New Zealand, it's a little bit rarer to find over here. So I always just like to take a little bit longer to mull over the aroma, but it's a really nice beer. Definitely for me, big fruity juicy oranges. There's a little bit more kind of tropical complexity to that. I think lychees and maybe, I don't know, papayas or something like that. I'm not sure if it's quite mangoes, but to me really it's mainly an orangey note, this beer, which makes me wonder if they've used some Pacifica in this. But yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma for yourself on this one. But let's get stuck into this then. So this is the Lack of Faith Black IPA from Garage Project on Arrow Street in Wellington, New Zealand. Slàinte. Ooh, that's pretty nice. That's a really quite nice beer, this. If you get the chance to try this, have a go at it. As I said, the Black IPA was a style that came in and lots of people were brewing these things. One of the best ones I had ever, actually, was the Black Salts and Body Malts from Toil over in Copenhagen. But this one certainly is really nice. Yeah, there's been a lot of hops put in this one. There's a good, nice kind of bitter hoppy finish to this one. So I actually brewed a black IPA myself, and I felt that the roasted malt in it was really prominent. I think maybe I just didn't quite balance it well enough with the hops. So that's maybe something I need to take into my home brewing myself, but they've done a nice job with this one. I also thought about with it a little bit, sometimes you can smooth it out with caramel, sometimes you can do it with chocolate. This one does a little bit of that. You can detect it in the flavour, but then the roasty bitterness comes out right on the end of the flavour too. But basically they've done a great job with this one. The rating that it has on Rate Beer, it fully deserves that in my opinion. Yeah, I wish this beer was a little bit more common over here. But as I always say with the darker beers like this, sugar them around your palate and take a few sips of them before you start analysing the flavour too much. But yeah, with this one, you can really feel that nice roasted black malty character to this one. And that just blankets the middle of the tongue. It's smooth initially, but then it starts to push its way out as you get further and further into the flavour of this beer. So you can just feel that roasty bitters. There's not really a coffee element to this. To me, it's coming out purely as a roasted black malt. There's a little bit of a bready character in the middle of the palate too, almost this little brown bready character there. There's a little bit of a very slight kind of brown sugar sweetness too, I think, and maybe a little bit of chocolate, but it's not, that's not really that prominent. The malt base on this one tastes as if it's mainly pale malt, maybe a little tiny bit of like caramel or biscuit malt as well, but really right in the middle of the tongue you get this big, dry, roasted black malty character coming out of the beer, which is obviously the distinctive feature of a black IPA. But the hops in this are nice too. You've got a great balance of this. There's a good, if you go to the back corners of the palate, you'll detect a little bit of earthiness, but as you come further forward, you can feel a little bit of I'm not sure if it's quite pine resin or if it's more kind of spicy floral sort of thing, but you've got this spicy floral pine resin character right along the sides of your palate, and that builds a good bridge between that nice roasted black malt character in the middle of your tongue and that hoppy bitterness at the edge. This beer balances really well in terms of the flavour. So they've done a great job with this, I think. It's a really nice beer. So if you enjoy the black IPA that's strong both in the malt base and in the hoppy bitterness, this one is going to suit you just nicely. But yeah, if you go around the front curve of your palate, there's a nice little bit of a kind of grassy, just a lighter grassy hop flavour to this beer. And that complements it quite well too. And if you just go behind the front curve of your tongue, that's where you get some of these nice, juicy, fruity characters coming out of the beer. So let's look at those more closely. Yeah, I think it's quite an orangey flavour that's coming out of this one. To me, it's a nice, juicy, citrusy orange character. I really do wonder if there's Pacifica in there. I might be wrong about that, but I do suspect there's a little bit of Pacifica in there just because of the orange flavours that are coming out of this one. I'm not sure if there's a little bit of grapefruit. You can detect a little bit of that darker flavour that you'd maybe associate with grapefruit. That comes out a little bit later on. The fruits come in and they're quite juicy and orange. Then as the flavour progresses, you get more of that sort of pine resin-y floral thing and the darker aspects of the grapefruit. But to me, overwhelmingly, it's grapefruit and oranges that are coming out of this one. But that's to say, you know, you can describe all these flavours. The main thing to take away is that this is a pretty awesome beer, and I do wish that there was more breweries still brewing these black IPAs, because if they're done properly, like this one, they can turn out really, really nicely. So once again, a big thumbs up to Garage Project on this beer, and it is cool that we were able to get one of these over here in Sweden. So if you enjoy a black IPA that's kind of forward on the bitterness, both from the malts and from the hops, this one's really going to suit you. And for me personally, because I like these big orangey flavoured hops like the Mandarina, the Mosaic, the Amarillo, and of course the Pacifica from New Zealand, it really hits the spot on the fruity side of things for me as well. So this is perhaps the perfect black IPA for me because of the orange flavours. So, but as I always say, beer is subjective, and different people enjoy different things. But if you get the chance to try this, I highly recommend that you do. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say that this beer is mid-bodied. The carbonation is quite smooth. I think the mouthfeel is mainly oily, to be honest. Yeah, I would go with an oily mouthfeel on this one. There's a good bit of hoppy bitterness, a good bit of bitterness from the malt base too. Like I said, it starts out a little bit sweet, but then the beer gradually becomes a bit more bitter. It starts off with a little bit more bitterness from the hops, and then it becomes a little bit more bitter in the malt base as you progress, and there's a good little bit of juicy, fruity character there. But as you get right into the aftertaste, it's that sort of spicy, floral, piney hop and that roasted black malt element from the malts that's just lingering there. So overall, it's another very, very solid beer from Garage Project, and to be quite honest, I wouldn't have expected anything less from these guys. They've got a name for themselves for a reason. So yeah, if you're interested in New Zealand beer, Garage Project is a very, very good place to start. They do some really interesting beers, like I said, they're very prolific. I'm not sure if this one quite tops the Death from Above that I had from them before, just probably for the uniqueness that that beer had. This one, it probably tops this one a little bit. But in terms of black IPAs, they've done a great job with this, and you can't really ask for much more. So if you get the chance to try the Lack of Faith from Garage Project, I highly recommend that you do. So yeah, it's been really cool to review another New Zealand beer and to revisit Garage Project, of course, for you here on the channel. So I hope you've enjoyed my take on this one. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all of the usual YouTube stuff. Make sure you try some New Zealand craft beers if you get the chance, and hopefully I can review some more for you on the channel very, very soon. So thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you guys very, very soon. Make sure you check out Garage Project in Wellington, New Zealand. Cheers.